Hello, everyone. Welcome to Free Reverie, hosted by your one and only Jujubee. If you haven't noticed, that's me. This is a podcast talking about anything and everything. Make sure to follow me on my social media: Snapchat, JBSU, Instagram, JBSU18, and Twitter, @PerfectFlute. Now let's get talking. Hey guys, it's Jujubee here, the host of Free Reverie. I want to talk about something really quick. There is another podcast out there that I enjoy listening to. I know, it's crazy, right? It's called the Stoke Cast Podcast. Okay? The Stoke Cast Podcast, hosted by Jonathan Ronzio and Emily Holland, bridges the best of outdoor adventure sports and action-oriented business lessons. That's great, right? So each week, the hosts chat with the outdoor industry's top athletes, adventurers, and entrepreneurs and share the stories, strategies, and secrets on how they've built careers and businesses around their wildest dreams and how you can too. Which is perfect because that's what I promote in my podcast. I want everyone to succeed, and they do too. So you can learn how top outdoor athletes, adventurers, and entrepreneurs build their lifestyles, careers, and businesses while in pursuit of adventure and purpose. The Stokecast podcast is a show for you if you're passionate about the outdoors, if you live for adventure sports, and if you just can't help but lean into your passions and all of your, quote, what if ideas. So check this podcast out. Again, the Stokecast podcast is something to listen to. You can listen to it on your Spotify or whatever else that you listen to your favorite podcast. Just add it to the list of podcasts just like you guys added Free Reverie. Check it out.
Symphony. Free Reverie.
Welcome to another podcast of Free Reverie. I have someone completely different, and it's not a musician because I have too many on my show right now. So would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Linda Riesenberg-Fissler. I'm an artist and an author and a podcaster as well as an instructor. So I instruct oil painting at a local art center in Middletown, Ohio, and write from my house. So usually write about 2,000 words a day. I'm on book 5 of my series of kind of mystery thriller novels and a little bit of political intrigue and espionage. I don't know. I guess I couldn't decide on a genre, so I just started writing all of them.
That's the same way with this podcast. I couldn't decide on a topic, so I was like, to hell with it. We're going to talk about anything and everything, so that's what it is.
Yeah, that's kind of me. It's like, oh, I like this idea. I'll go write on this for a while. So
it's that typical stance of that a woman can't make up her mind. You guys, it's true. I can't because I like to talk about everything. So, yeah, I feel you there. I don't think I could rely on, I just want to write this, because then you want to be like, well, I want to be romantic too, and then
there's a love triangle in there too, and
then you're like, you got to have the evil person, and
I have more than one evil person because they're the fun ones to write. So.
Yeah, ooh, and then if you have a sex symbol who is also evil person, that's even better. So you're like, is he good or is he bad? And you would never know. And then you have the girl sleep with him, and then you find out he's evil. You're like, ooh, he did her wrong. And then you're like, this is turning out to be a drama. And then we're like, oh my goodness. And then you turn around and she killed who? And then you're like, oh my God. I would be the same person. I'd be like, we got to incorporate this and this and this.
Well, the interesting thing with the book, I call it the Blind series. There are 4 books out currently published. And it's really kind of interesting because there's the MI6 agent, there's a female attorney, and then there's a senator who later becomes president during the series. And there's a love triangle between that. And I have half of my fans are like, oh, I just love Sean. That's the MI6 agent, the James Bond thing. Oh, I just love Sean. He's so cool. And, and everybody hates the president, the senator. His name is Bobby Jenkins, and it's just everybody hates Bobby because, he's a politician, so everybody hates him. And I ran into one fan who had came up and who was talking to me, and I said something about, well, I guess I'm going to have everybody mad at me in the upcoming book. And she said, why? And I said, I'm really getting tired about writing Sean and in Nicole all the time. I said, I don't know. I said, I'm still trying to figure it out. And she looked at me and she said, I want her to be with Bobby. And I was like, are you kidding me? You're like the first one. And it's just, so we had this wonderful conversation about why she wanted Nicole with Bobby. And I'm just sitting there thinking, wow, she's really reading my books. She's really getting into there and catching those little things that I say that kind of push Nicole towards Bobby, the character Bobby. So it's really kind of interesting that she actually picked up on those little nuances that I have in there. And it's, I have fun writing it. So,
right. So she's almost kind of playing like, what's it called? Devil's advocate, where you're like, okay, so, what you're taking different scenarios almost. She's kind of like, this needs to happen. And then that way it could carry on to another book.
Well, it's exactly what you and I were kind of talking about, what I call in the green room before we started taping.
Yeah.
It's really kind of interesting because you found out it's all about growth. And it's the same thing when you're writing a book. Each character has to grow. If they get stagnant, if I get tired of writing the same scenes, or I keep feeling like I'm saying the same thing, or the same thing keeps happening to the characters, in their relationship, something's got to give. Somebody's got to grow. And the one thing that I always think of as the MI6 agent, he's always there to protect her, and she always has to be in distress. And and the other character, Bobby, he's all for feminism and women's lib and get out there and make your life, honey, and all that kind of stuff. And it's really kind of, like I said, it's interesting to see. And then the age group that affects too, So
what if you had a twist where she used Bobby's like power, sort of, or just technically money, to
one of the same,
to get training, to get training to defend herself. And there's actually a stance where she actually saved the agent's life.
Well, she knows how to use a gun, so.
I mean, with her body, like martial arts stuff, whatever.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not into that.
Oh, well, she shot my idea down, guys. I'm sorry.
Well, you have to understand that the books are set in 1980, so.
Oh, well, I haven't read your books, so I'm just kind of like spewing whatever.
Right. Yeah, so, I mean, if it was now, that would, like, if it took place in this time frame in the 2000s and, right around this time, that would work out really well. But in 1980, I grew up, I graduated from high school in 1979. So a lot of the research that I did for the books at this time was done in 1980, 81, because the first book with working at Procter & Gamble took me that long to write. And it came out and self-published in 2015. So, and that was only after I found a script that was rejected, and the guy that rejected it wrote me basically the steps I needed to do to get the script resubmitted to, it was for Star Trek: The Next Generation. He wrote this whole letter out and said, you need an agent. It needs to be submitted through an agent, and, please see attached the agents list that, I've put in here. And, and I'm like sitting here reading this letter because I found it down in my art studio, which we haven't talked about painting yet, but we'll get to that. But it was really kind of interesting because I just kind of read this letter and I started looking through stuff, and I just like literally walked over and hit my head against the wall. It's like, how stupid were you when you were 22 years old? So
I wouldn't know. That was only 3 years ago for me.
It's been a long time for me. So it was like, I just kind of like, oh my gosh. Here I thought at 22 that the guy basically told me I didn't know how to write. And, then at, over 50, I started actually self-publishing, and have been having fun with that ever since. So.
Yeah. Well, I look at your pictures and you do not look 50. I must let you know that you look freaking fantastic. You're kind of like my mom. You guys don't age.
Yeah, I have a good growth gene.
Yeah. I'm just like, I'm probably going to be the one that stops that. I'm just saying, like, if I keep up the way I'm going right now, I've already got bags under my eyes. I'm like, oh my goodness. And I'm like, this takes too much effort to keep your body looking good. And I'm really trying. I'm trying to get back into shape. I'm like, you just hear me going everywhere. I'm like dripping sweat
I'll
everywhere.
probably be running. I'm sorry. I was going to say I'll probably be running out of energy pretty soon because my husband and I did a 26-mile ride on our bicycles today.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. We try to get in anywhere from 60 to 75 to 100 miles a week. So,
nice.
So it's, trying to fit painting and writing. And I mean, and you know how it is. You've got your family and it's just kind of crazy.
It is, but I get it because I get motivated because I do Zumba twice a week, and I just now joined another class. I'm doing too much because I'm so sore. But I'm taking up some self-defense classes and another exercise class. I'm like working out 6 days a week instead of 5.
Good for you.
Yeah,
good for you.
I'm trying.
Better.
I'm trying, but my son, the first class that I took on this extra class, he was good halfway through, just an angel, and then he wanted to be clingy. So as I'm doing squats, I'm having to hold my son while doing squats across the room. People are like, you're going. I was like, he's killing me. I'm like, oh my God. And I was like, Parker, seriously, can I put you down? Oh no, he didn't want to be put down. And I'm like, my legs literally are trembling because I just wanted to stand. It was so bad. And then she goes, last set is wall sits. I'm like, I was like, you're looking at me in pain and you did this to me on purpose. And I looked at Parker and I was like, are you happy? And he just he's just giggling. I was like, good. I'll remember this moment. I mean, him and I have such a good relationship. I mentioned to most people, I'm like, my son's a year and a half, and he'll sit back in the car, and his jam right now is Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Great band.
Yeah, well, he loves like the oldies and stuff. Like if you play any of the new stuff, he kind of like hesitates for a second. He'll just jam out to the beat. But if you play some oldies, like he jammed out to Chicago one day. I was like, what? I'm like, I didn't even play this for you. I'm just like, it just came on the radio just one day, and I'm like, now I know you're another old soul. I'm like, great.
Yeah, well, you just like 2 bands that I grew up with, so
yeah.
Chicago
my parents
and
played
Fire.
them a lot. My parents played a lot of the oldies and stuff like that a lot when I was growing up, and I do appreciate it. And that's why I kind of mix it up for my son. I don't want him just to listen to the oldies. I want him to listen to a mix of the new, a mix of like what could be, whatever. Because I was in band in high school, and I appreciate all genres, and I want him to do the same. Because I don't know what he's going to be when he grows up. I don't know. He's taken an interest. He loves to dance. He's just like his mama. Oh. And he does that, and he took an interest in basketball. Like he's very observant. There's some kids that take it immediately, and there's some kids that don't. And he's just someone that if he watches you do it once, he's going to do it. He's going to copy exactly the way you do it. You know, he may need a little help here and there, but he's absolutely amazing. I'm just like, I don't know what you're going to do, and I don't know how I'm going to explain this to you when you grow up, that your mama isn't as smart as you're going to be, but I don't know, eventually I'll figure that out, or you'll just figure that out on your own when you're like, Mama, can you help me with the homework? I'll be like, no, honey, I can't do that. I can't do that at all. He'll figure it out, I'm pretty sure. I'm smart, but to an extent, but he's just taken on so much. I'm like, are you really my son?
Aww.
Yeah, he's, if you look on my Instagram, he's going to be so much trouble. So much, because he's such a looker. He knew the eyebrow trick towards women at 7 months old.
Oh, wow.
And now, if he wants to get what he wants, he flashes those little eyelashes, which men, you guys always get the good parts, okay? He flashes those eyelashes, and then he does a little half smile, like Elvis, and he bats them, and he knows how to get what he wants, because you're just like, oh, you're so cute. And once you say that, he knows he's got you.
Yep. Yeah, well, like I always said, the man upstairs makes sure that babies, cats, and kittens and puppies are cute. So
he's going to be the devil when he gets older, basically.
Well, I don't know. I don't know your son. I'm just saying that
he's
I'm sure there's enough trouble that he gets into at this point that he's just kind of like thank God you're cute.
Yeah, no kidding.
I tell my kittens, thank God you're cute.
Yeah. So. I'm like, you're going to raise my electric bill because you keep turning on the damn dishwasher and rinsing this like the third freaking time. And yeah, you better, you're lucky I love you, is what I tell them all the time. You're lucky. Oh my goodness, I'm so tired of having those things dry for the third time because he turns on the dishwasher and you have to wait and hold that for freaking 3 seconds and then it doesn't work and you're like, there it goes again, and you open it and everything is soaked again. Oh my gosh. I'm like, he's raising hell. I can't stand it. I told his dad, I was like, we have to do something right now. Oh my goodness. How many kids do you have?
I don't have any kids, unfortunately. Not for lack of trying. I had a lot of miscarriages and
I'm sorry.
And stuff. Oh no, that's okay. It just wasn't meant to be, and because of that, I started to actually explore painting and got back into my writing. And my husband and I have a very good relationship, so it's one of these things, like we bike together and we're best friends. And
so you guys are the relationship goal couple, basically, because everyone's supposed to idolize that type of relationship, the closeness.
Yeah, I mean, you got to laugh through a lot of stuff, and we're going to be coming up on our 35th year of marriage in August. So, so it's
congratulations.
Thank you.
A lot of people don't make it that far.
Yeah, it's,
not nowadays.
It's commitment's a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know that. And it's just one of those things that we've had each of us have put each other through trials. So
oh my gosh, I can't imagine.
So it's been interesting. It's been a fun. Can't imagine being here without him. He feels the same way. So it's been really nice from that standpoint. He had a really bad fall on his bicycle a little over a year and a half ago. He had 3 brain bleeds and the most severe concussion you can get. I got a call from the hospital saying he was in ICU. Got up there and they're telling me everything that's wrong with him, and I just kind of stood there and listened to him, and I said, it's going to be a long recovery. And I said, you have to give me what long means, because I have decisions to make if what you're telling me is what I think you're telling me.
Right.
And, he said, well, probably 7 to 10 days in ICU and 3 to 6 months rehab. And I was like, oh my God, so I said, okay, thanks. And I heard this little voice in my head that just said, no, he's going to be home by Saturday or Sunday. And everybody was out of the room, and I just leaned over and whispered in his ear, come back to me. And he is fine. He was home on Sunday from the hospital. And the doctors were like, looking at me, because I had been like 48 hours of him leaving the hospital just to make sure everything was okay. And he's reading the reports, and he's looking at me, and he's looking at the report, and he's looking at my husband, and he's like, what is he doing sitting here? And I'm like, I guess it was a miracle. So,
right, yeah, it was a miracle. It was me telling him he's not dying without me. That's what it is. He's not going anywhere until I say so.
Yep. So
basically,
it's exactly what happened. Yeah. So he came back, and he's been doing well ever since. Like I said, we've gone out biking. We have a good time, and
you are his lifeline.
I guess so.
Oh, that is so sweet.
Yeah. So it's been good. He's been through some health issues with me earlier on, so I knew he was a keeper. So,
and fantastic.
Especially hanging in, not to gloss over the miscarriage thing. I mean that's really is a struggle for a number of reasons. I don't want people to think that it was just like, oh, well, it was over. No, it took its emotional toll.
I just didn't want that to be a focus. I was just kind of, moving forward a little bit so that way it wasn't, I don't want my podcast to be so down, because I felt so sorry that happened to you. But you see I guess the silver lining in it all is, I guess you get to focus on your passions, and
exactly.
You guys are happy. You guys are obviously doing well. I mean, that is just such an amazing story to me. That's like the Lifetime movie where you see, I'm the gushy kind of person. I love to see those Lifetime stuff. Even though if I've seen it like 3 times, I'm like, Oh, I like cry because I'm like, if that ever happened to me, type thing.
Yeah.
So does he kind of participate in your podcast at all? Like, what does he do?
No, he manages finances and does a lot of the physical stuff around our house, like taking care. I planted the flowers. Now it's his turn to take care of them for the rest of the summer. I'm not the watering type. It's like, yeah, they're in the ground, whatever. So,
You're like, they look cute, but it's your job to keep them that way.
right. So he does a lot of that kind of stuff, and we split chores and all of that. He's really into cycling, bicycling, and photography. He does photography.
Nice.
He's always, available to help a hand, give a helping hand to people. So he's very generous that way.
You guys kind of known in your community then?
Yeah, we actually last year just chaired one of the big charity events in our little town. It's called the Charity Ball. We were asked to be chairman and chairpersons, I guess you could say, of the event. So it took a year to plan it, and it happened last December. Yeah, it's a big thing.
Oh my goodness.
It raises money for a woman's endowment at the hospital in town, and so women can, because of this ball, it's a big, extravagant kind of ball, long dresses and tux, that kind of thing. That money goes to the endowment, and the endowment provides women's health things. So a woman could, if she doesn't have the money to have a mammogram, they can go to the hospital and say they need a mammogram, but they don't have the money, and then that will be taken out of the endowment and paid for them to have the,
awesome.
Those kind of things. So that's what the money was raised for, and that was like in December. So it took us, we started planning it probably in March, and then, like I said, the event was the first weekend in December, and so that's how long it took to plan everything.
Well, it's kind of crazy that it's planned in December, because it's for Christmas time, so you guys just that's a lot of money to spend, but I see the good in it too. Do they happen to have funds for men too? Oh,
they have a lot of different foundations. This just happens to be the
women's.
Yeah, the people that put it on are the Federation of Women's Clubs from the Middletown, Ohio area. So that's why it's focused on the women. But like I said, it's not the only endowment, if you will, that the hospital has. They have a lot of different ones.
Okay, because I was going to say, because there's men out there too that could use that too. Not for mammograms, you guys, but I'm saying for like getting checked to make sure y'all are clean, because things do happen.
Although men can have breast cancer, so remember that, guys.
Yeah, you guys can, but I was just talking about mammograms.
Right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I guess you can, but I don't think. Oh my goodness. I guess nowadays you could. So.
Oh yeah, there's been a number of cases that have. I mean, it's not what you would call common, but there have been. I mean, I've read a number of different stories about men who discovered that they have had breast cancer, and unfortunately, the discovery comes like stage 4, very elevated ones. Yeah, because they don't understand. So it's going to start to get more and more attention, I'm sure.
Well, I'm sure they're going to have some more tests, like probably a procedure to check men just in case. Because I'm sure, like, if they were to have one, it's pretty small, like to not even feel it, and then you're just letting it go.
Right.
So.
Yep. So yeah. So.
I didn't think about that. So now I know what to do with my boyfriend when he comes over. Here we go. I know what to do.
Show him how to do that.
Yeah. Rotate. You got to get underneath there. I will definitely do that. He'll probably like it too much. So I don't know. I really don't. He's kinky, guys. He's too kinky. And I know that's too much to be said, but I'm going to flat out say it because he'll admit it too, because he ain't shy. He ain't shy at all. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so I didn't even think about it that way. Okay. All right. So what else do you like to do?
Now we educated them on a number of different things here, haven't we? So.
That's what I like about my podcast is that we talk about a little bit of anything and everything. That's why I do not like being organized with questions, because that's not how a conversation is. Like you come up with a question within the question. Like if something were to come up, you're like, okay, well, I want to ask this too. So that's, I want everyone to learn about who you are, what you're about. I love to learn about different people. I just love it. Yeah. Y'all's stories are just awesome. So, what else do you like to do in your spare time then?
Well, if I have any spare time, it's typically spent playing with my 2 kittens. And
I saw them. They're so cute.
Yeah, yes. Prince Harry and Snickers. But I call Snickers actually little girl because she's smaller than he is, even though they're brother and sister.
Yeah. But you had a picture on your website and you're like, Snickers is the one looking at you. Can you guess why Linda named him Orange Kitty Prince Harry?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
and
so
he
cute.
is as ornery as Prince Harry was growing up. So that it's the perfect name. So yeah, so he's quite he's bigger boned, and he's taller than she is. Like if you're standing side to side, his back is higher than hers. His legs are longer, but he's just brawny, and he's the brawn, she's the brains. So it's just amazing that, I mean, it's like she'll be like, come on, follow me, I'll do this. And then you see him trying to do it and he ends up falling. It's just, but he's also a lover. He's, you pick him up cuddler. And he just he just kind of melts when you pick him up. He feels like, I mean, it's like trying to hold Jello because he just lets go. He just is very, very free.
And you're like, do you have legs?
Yeah. Do you have a spine? It's
what are you?
And she, on the other hand, will not let my husband touch her at all.
Right.
They were dumped in a dumpster by a man and who was caught on tape. And I don't know if they ever turned the tape over to the police or whatever. I don't know that side of the story. But they were dumped in a construction dumpster, and a friend of mine pulled them out of the dumpster, and they immediately ran underneath it. They were probably about 6.5 months old at that time. Aww. And they kind of hung around with the construction crew for a while, and for about 2 weeks, I guess. And then the supervisor noticed my friend's friend bringing food and water to them, and she said, I just want to let you know the dumpster they're living under is being moved tomorrow. So I don't know if you want to take them in with you or whatever. So she called my friend, who called her boyfriend, and said, go over and get him. So he just went over, picked him up, threw him in the car, brought him back to her apartment. And then she kept him for about 2 weeks and defleed them and fed them. And she was posting videos on Facebook of them. And I just kind of fell in love with them and said they need to be here. So we went up and got them, and they've been here ever since. So we figure they're just over a year, maybe a year and 6 weeks, something like that. So
nice. They
full
kind of
grown.
remind me of my cats growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up with cats. I grew up with a couple dogs, but they were always outside dogs.
Mm-hmm.
But cats have always been in the house. And the way that you just described them is the way that I grew up with mine kitties. One was Smokey and one was Sylvester. Smokey was the one that was the Jello. And then Sylvester was the one that don't touch me. But he was awesome at catching mice because we lived in this house where there'd be mouse. So anytime there was a mouse, you knew that Sylvester was about to kill it, instantly. And it was really sad when they passed. And so then when we got another kitten, his name is Finnegan, and Mocha. Mocha we had to put outside because, poor thing, she wanted to piss everywhere, and my mom was not having it. And it was just one of those things, she was trained not to, but I think it was just she got too comfortable. We don't know what was going on, but it was out of control to the point where the house was smelling daily. And so then Finnegan, he stayed. Mocha, she lasted for a little while until she had babies for the 4th time. And yeah, you guys, one thing about female cats is they can have several babies with different dads.
Yes.
And that's crazy to think about, Yeah, because you don't call a cat a hoe, so you just like, oh, they're so cute. But if anyone else, like a woman, like me, if I were labeled. But yeah. But yeah, so then when I moved out, I got myself a little baby. Her name was Cotton Bell. And I kept her until when I had my son. And I was really trying to make it work, but for some reason she kept swatting at his head.
Oh, yeah,
And
you can't have that.
No. And then she almost tried to bite him. She did not like him. And I said, I tried for 2 months. And then I asked my grandpa, I was like, can you please just take her? And I cried because I was like, I raised her from such a little kitten. She was a barn cat. And she's a beautiful white with blue eyes. And, yeah. So now when I go over there to his house, she won't even come near me.
Aw.
Yeah.
It's sad. Yeah, but little girl with me is, she comes in and cuddles up next to me and will purr for an hour when I'm in bed trying to get to sleep. So she'll be laying there purring, and as soon as my hand stops stroking her, all of a sudden this little paw comes up and starts hitting my lips. And it's like, I want more. And then she'll crawl off after a while and she'll go to sleep. And then in the morning she comes in and she wakes me up by doing the same thing. So we have to cuddle for an hour in the morning before I get up. So it's like,
well, that's not the bad thing.
No. I mean, yeah, there's a lot other, really bad ways to wake up, but she just, yes. And I come home and she won't go up to my husband. She'll only walk up to me. And if she has to walk by my husband to get to me, he'll like reach down and try to pet her. And the look on her face and the way she rears back, it's just like, oh my God.
It's like the one in the picture. What?
She just like, don't touch me. Like Tom will reach down and try to touch her, and she'll be sitting there going, don't touch me. And then all of a sudden he'll be going, don't touch me. And he walks off, and he just gets real upset with her because she just she's not into guys. She just wants to be by me, by mama. So.
Well, a lot of guys have to learn out there that women tend to stick together. So, yeah. He probably did something that she didn't like, and she's holding it a grudge.
Well, if it really is true that I didn't see the tape, but if it was a guy that dumped them off into the dumpster, I can imagine why she doesn't. But Harry doesn't seem to have a problem. He lets things just slide off his back. He's just
so Smokey was like, yeah. I don't care.
yeah. He's good. He's good with my husband, and that's a good thing. So because one of us can handle one of them, I can't handle both of them at the same time. So Tom, so it works out. He's got Harry. I've got little girl. So.
They're so cute. So if you guys have any time, go to Linda, was it Feisler? Is that what you said? Fissler, I'm sorry, .com. And then you can see the pictures of the two kitties. They're so cute. And I don't care if they're grown cats. I still say kitties because they'll always be kitties.
Yeah, I call them kitties. I don't call them cats.
No, cat just sounds very like, bleh. Like, I don't know, because it's just like, it could be any cat. Or any dog, but if you say kitty, it's like it's my baby. Yeah, pretty much. And so how do you feel about dogs? Then?
Well, growing up, we had a dog. We had a beagle who just about ripped off my big toe. so not real fond of beagles, but but no, I love golden retrievers, and I always said that if I were living on my own or whatever, I would have had a golden retriever with me. But my niece has one, and they trained one, or they kept one for a year, and then that golden retriever became a service dog. So
awesome.
that was the contract. So the contract was that they would raise her and to be to up to a year, and then they would place her and be a service dog. And they just happened to get a visit from the one that is a service dog. So I guess over the past weekend or whatever, they had two two golden retrievers in their home, but they're just beautiful dogs. I just love them, and Irish setters. I like big dogs. I don't, because of what my beagle did. I'm not very, very fond of smaller dogs, but I love big dogs like Irish setters and Russian wolfhounds and golden retrievers and things like that.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not that I have anything against the smaller dogs. I don't. But the big ones just, grab my
They're
heart.
They're more cuddle buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah. The small ones, I'm like, I don't want to step on you.
Yeah. I don't know. They just grab my heart quicker than smaller dogs do. But I have to say though, I do think pugs are cute. So.
Pugs are, I don't know.
Well, my thing comes from the guy with the Men in Black, MIB, and he's shaking the pug.
Okay, I see what you're saying now. Okay, yeah, that one pug, sure, but everyone else, like, I don't know. I'm
going to get hate mail from all of the people who have small dogs out there. I can see it now.
Well, I mean, everyone has their preferences. For me, I'm the same way with bigger dogs. It's because I grew up with bigger dogs. And, but they're more or less outside. But if I were to have any dog inside, and I know it would be a hassle because of all the hair, but I would love to have a beautiful husky. Oh my goodness. Yeah. If they didn't shed as much as they did, I probably would have one by now. As for small dogs, my friend actually has one that's a mix of a Chihuahua, and she actually saved her because she was one that was also abused. The owner would throw her across the room. I mean, she's so tiny. And it's just like, this dog is so well trained by her. Like, you go in, you're like, Sweet Pea, come here, Sweet Pea. And I love it. She's so cute. But I'm like, I couldn't deal with a small dog. I really couldn't. Yeah, the mess would be smaller. But I don't know if I could do it. Because I'm just like, I would be that person waking up in the middle of the night and trip and hurt the dog. And then it'd be like, damn, I just got paid, and now my paycheck's paying for the doctor's bill. That's what I'd be thinking. I'm like, oh, I couldn't afford it. It's just too much.
Yep. Yeah, they do. They demand, cats or dogs, kittens, whatever. They all demand attention. And
oh yeah, mine did too.
Yeah. So,
I miss her.
You get back in spades what they give you in love. So, I mean, you love them a little bit, they give you a heck of a lot more. So.
I know. My grandpa actually hated the fact that I had my baby declawed. And I was like, there is a reason why I had my baby declawed, because no matter how hard I trained her to not scratch at things, she was scratching at a place that I was renting at, like the walls, like digging, and I mean, it was just so bad. I was like, I can't do this. I would rather have her declawed because I would never put her outside. I could never, because I'm too much in love with her. And so that's why I was like, can you please take her? Because she's swatting at my son. And it's not that she would hurt him because she was declawed. But it's the fact that she started to try to bite his face. And he was a newborn at that time.
Yep.
And I'm like, once she starts doing that, she will always do that. It's not that something she'll grow out of. Like, at first I thought, okay, he's new. And I'm like, 2 months from now, she's still doing it. She's not warming up. She's jealous.
Yep.
Because she's not getting as much attention.
Yep.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I'll just give it to my grandpa because he'll give her the attention she needs.
Right.
And she did. She had a best friend, and my grandpa has had a hard time because Misty, the cat that I named while he was there because he found her, just passed away.
Oh.
And yeah, so apparently Cotton Bell's having a hard time because she just made a friend. And yeah, it's pretty depressed right now. I'm like, I don't know what to do about that because I think that when a cat's depressed, it lingers longer than a human does because they don't get the medicine and stuff, to help boost, your mood and stuff.
Right. Yeah. We had 2 before these 2 that. One passed unexpectedly at 17 and a half, and the other one passed at 18. And the one that passed at 17 and a half 17 and a half just happened to be Christmas.
Oh, no.
excuse me, I'm sorry. Yeah, so it's been a hard time that way. But yeah, he was the one that lasted to 18. I mean, you could just tell he was, depressed, but I think a lot of it also had to do with he wasn't feeling well either.
When you get up to that age, yeah, because isn't it? Yeah, it's like, is it the same with cats for the lives as with the dogs?
No, the cats actually age quicker earlier on. So in their first year, by the end of their first year, they're actually in their teenage years.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not like a dog, not 7 years. Every year is 7 years in a dog's life, or however that goes. But no, cats their progression is different and quicker, and then they stay in adulthood longer than like a dog would. I think.
Didn't know that. I thought they were both 7.
No, I looked it up on the internet. Of course, it's right because it's the internet.
Yes, that has to be the truth. Okay, everyone, believe what you read.
Yeah. And I read a couple different articles, and both of them said it's not exactly the same as a dog, and I'm not. And I'm not sure if it's 7 years for every dog, because I heard that the larger breeds, like Great Danes, age quicker because they're so big. So I don't.
So it's the small dogs?
I'm not a vet.
Yeah, so small dogs, it's longer time to age. I thought that it was all dogs. I am so confused now. Like I have to research this myself.
Yeah, I'm not a vet, so
it's okay.
I can tell you about
I just learned something. I just learned something. See, that's what's great, you guys. We learned about the lives of animals. You can't get that anywhere.
Yeah, go Google.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't want to read books. We want to read what Google says.
Yep. Or whatever Alexa tells us if you have one of those creepy things in your home.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so the radio shows are all trying to do the Alexa play da 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 da, and it's like, then someone's going to tweet, my Alexa went off because you said it on the radio. And it's like, that is so overplayed, you guys. I guarantee your Alexa did not go off because the radio station said to play it. Because isn't there a setting on Alexa where you could, like, voice recognition?
I don't have one.
So. I don't have one either. I'm just assuming. I'm assuming
one.
That's a test. I don't want one either. Because I feel like that's laziness. I'm sorry, but it is. Like, why do you need someone to go, Alexa, turn on the light to my room? And it's like you're not even a foot away. And it's, really? There's a switch.
Yeah, I there's a number of reasons why I don't want that little creepy thing in my house. So
because they spy on you. Yes.
Yeah, there's just too much
I won't say it.
You know,
I won't say it because I don't want them spying on me and trying to attack me because I don't want them to find me at all. But you know who I'm talking about, you guys.
But yeah, it's I don't know. Like I said, the books crazy. That when I do research on them, since it's an MI6 agent. And there's a guy that's part of an FBI in there, and there's also the CIA's in there, and all of that. I mean, I read up on all these declassified CIA operations and the things that they do. It's just you just kind of sit there and go, no way. And no, I don't want Alexa knowing everything I'm doing. But I can say that my podcast, if you go Alexa, please play All Things Creative, it will find the last episode and play it because I was in a house that had Alexa, and I said, I'm going to try this and see what happens. And it listened to my voice, and it found my podcast and started playing it, and people were like, is she throwing her voice?
That's creepy. That is so freaking creepy that it recognized your voice.
Yeah, well, not only mine.
So from now on, voice changer initiation will happen very, very soon on my podcast. I'm kidding. Not really. I'm not going to change my voice because you said it.
Every house I've been into that's had one of those, it's responded to other people's voices. So that's crazy. Either they have that turned off. I don't know. Like I said, I don't want one. I have enough people that track me. I don't need other things to do that too.
Exactly.
So, just gets a little crazy.
It does, because I
don't need any
can't
more
stand
craziness
it.
in my life. It's crazy enough.
I can't stand it when you're seriously talking about something and then you open up your Safari or whatever and it's there. Like, I can't stand the
Yeah.
fact that something is still listening, no
And
matter what
how
you
did
do.
that happen?
Yeah, I wonder how. And then, the news article's like, there's a way to turn it off. It will never turn off. You guys don't believe the shit that's going out there on the internet. I'm telling you, no matter what you do with the settings and stuff, people are still listening. I'm not saying any more on that issue because everyone knows. Yes, everyone knows. It's on my conspiracy blog, so read it at your own risk. Basically. No, I can't stand it either. It's absolutely insane, and that's why, you cover up your webcam and all types of stuff. It's scary. The world is scary.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, it is.
Ugh.
Well, that was a downer.
Yeah, that was a really change. Like, we were happy-go-lucky with pets, and then we're talking about people finding each other. Oh my goodness. So, with that being said, your favorite genre is what?
Well, yeah, I like mystery thrillers with, just a little bit of historical edge
I would have
to
never
it.
guessed.
And,
Would have never guessed.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Oh, goodness. Mine is the same thing. I love mysteries. I really do. I love something where, like I love films, especially where it's a total twist. Like, I don't like predictable films. I just don't, because some I'm like, okay, it's acceptable because, okay, it's Christmas. Whatever. But other ones, like for horror films and stuff, if it's predictable, I'm very disinterested. I'm just, I know disinterested isn't a word, but I'm distant. So, I like the films where it's a complete twist. I'm trying to think of a film. I really liked, now I'm blanking on the film. I don't know. Oh, The Descent. Have you seen it? Have you seen it? The Descent is an amazing film.
Blanked out what is it?
The Descent.
Oh, The Descent. No,
Yes.
I have not seen it.
It's a great film because it's completely, like, there's some predictable parts, but it's not so predictable that you don't know what's going to happen. Like, at the end, I knew the main character was going to survive. However, it just, the way it came about it's so good.
When you write, you learn to figure out plot points and different things like that. I mean, there has not been a movie that I haven't sat in and figured out within the first 15 minutes who the bad guy was or who was going to die next or whatever. And It's just once you start writing and you have to have this plot point at this point and you have to have another plot point at this point, pretty much they all. So, I'm trying to remember the last film that completely took me off guard, and I can't even think of it.
What about Deja Vu?
It's been a while.
That movie with Deja Vu.
Haven't seen that one.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It has Denzel Washington in it. Yeah, it's a good one. Because I guarantee you won't even know what's going to happen at the end. You're going to be totally shocked.
I'll have a look at it.
Yeah,
I'll have a look
and then write about it. You make a tweet and you tag me in it, and we gonna go to war. Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I would never do that to you. I would. No, but you just let me know what you think about the film. It's really good. It was actually made in 2006.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
it's a good one. Mm-hmm.
I'll check it out. So.
All right, good. So, we're going to ask a couple fun questions.
Okay.
So let me bring them up real quick, because like I said, I'm not prepared by any means. We were kind of just like, oh, do you want to talk really quick? And then we ended up doing so, but we started actually on time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll pick questions to perk up boring gatherings, is what it says. I literally look up questions. I do. I try not to pick the same ones in any podcast. I try not to. All right. So, if you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
I pretty much changed most of the stuff about myself that I didn't like. So I went from being a blonde to a redhead. Probably my weight.
Yeah, but redhead fits you, though.
Yeah, thanks.
It does. I don't think I could picture you with blonde hair. I really don't.
Yeah, I should send you my wedding pictures.
Oh, boy. Oh,
with my blonde hair. Yeah, probably, like I said, if I could fix one thing, I would probably want to be a little bit thinner. So, yeah. But that's really shallow. I mean, my weight doesn't bother me, but I mean, I'm not obese, but I just, like every woman, I wish I didn't have these hips, or whatever.
I've got a big ass, and I hate it. My boyfriend loves it, and I'm like, do you realize how much more the material is for me to like have to buy it, and it's gonna be more than those with the skinny ass? Yeah, it's it's so hard to find fitting clothing. Yeah, like that's the issue. It's not that I have an issue with my body. It's just like, why do I have to go to another store that's more expensive to find something that fits me? Like, that's ridiculous. Like, I would love to just go to one store and one store only and be able to find something for me. And I really do. I really try to go to Walmart. It's not the best store, but yeah, I do try to go to Walmart or Meijer or something like that, and I find clothing, and I go home and I try it, and it's too tight. And I'm like, damn, I knew this was going to happen, yet I still took the tag off. I'll just sell it. I'm not going to make anything off of it, but yeah, I'll make something.
Yeah. Shopping was not my favorite thing to do when I was in high school. I hated it. So.
Yeah, but I hate ordering online even worse. Like clothing, I just hate it because you don't know if you get it, it's too small. Then you're like, I just paid shipping and everything for this. Like, it depends on the material for me.
Yeah, I just followed the size chart, and then nobody knows what size I am anyway because I'm doing it all, except for the internet. Probably the whole internet knows what size I am, so...
I just like being in person and be able to try on the pants and stuff. Like, I feel like I can order any shirt online, fine. The shirts are fine, but it's the pants. Yep. Because you might get pants that both your legs, fit in. You're like, oh my gosh, this is going to work. And you get to the waist part and it won't button and it won't zip. And you're like, you got to be serious. And then they're like, oh, well, you could just get in a little attachment and you could put it in your pants. I'm like, that's not going to cover the gap that's in between showing, my little chunk. Like, that's not going to happen. I'm like, I've got baby chunk on my stomach right now still. And it's been almost 2 years. And I'm like, it's just so hard to work it off. I give props to all those girls that take it off like that. Yep. I'm just like, I'm envious. But at the same time, did you have to starve yourself? I'm not claiming everybody starves themselves, but I've met a couple of my friends and stuff like that. And they've openly admitted that they've starved themselves so they could get back to the baby, get the baby weight off. And I'm like, that's not healthy either.
No. And I mean, quite honestly, I mentioned that I had ridden 26 miles today on a bicycle. So I ride bikes so I can eat what I want. So
you're like, well, I rode this much. I lost 600 some calories. This piece of pie alone's like 320. So I can have 2 slices.
No, I don't do that. But if I want a piece of pie, I eat a piece of pie.
I do that.
I'm actually trying to drop a few pounds, so I actually have to burn more calories than I consume. So
yeah, I think that's what they say when you get older. You have to work twice as hard.
Thank you.
I'm not. I didn't mean it like that. I'm just saying. I'm so sorry. That came out wrong. I apologize ahead of time because I know that my listeners are going to backlash on me for, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it that way. I didn't think about it. Words are spilling out of my mouth at this point. Yeah. I didn't even think about it. My mom's going to hate me. She's like, that's inappropriate. Oh my goodness. Alright, so what would you do if you were invisible for a day?
Did that answer it enough?
We won't ask that question. I did, but we won't answer it.
That was the laugh I usually have when I'm writing and I'm writing the bad character. You hear me laughing like that. So
have you ever thought about turning your books into a film?
Oh yeah, I actually wrote one script so far, and
Go for it.
I'm actually working on a second script now. I look at it, I see it more as a series than I do a film, but
Okay,
series
Netflix, get on this.
like Crown or something like that.
Yeah, Netflix.
Yep, that's what
get
I'm
on
hoping
it.
for.
Get on it. And then
Yep.
you can have your laugh recorded, and then that'll be like playing in the background. People are like, what the fuck? And you're like, yeah. And then you're coming out from the shadows, like, oh my god.
Well, there's this one thing that happens in the first book that took all of my relations, my cousins, and my friends by surprise. I mean, they first thing that, like, if they've read the book and I hadn't seen them, and then like I show up, and I walk in, and they were looking at me going, "How could you write that? God, that was so gross!" And I was like sitting there going, "Write what?" And then they would tell me, and I'm like, "That really grossed you out?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I didn't think it was that gross." So
they're like, "You're twisted."
Yeah,
like,
they are.
I could
like,
get
I never
much,
knew
much
this about
worse.
you.
You're like, I could get much, much worse from here. Would you want to hear this? And they're like, no. And you're like, then don't read this book.
Well, there's one saying that really gets my cousins to go, "Oh no, don't say it. It's paper cut in the eye." And they're like, "Don't you dare put that in the book."
Really?
Yeah.
That's minor. Oh my goodness. That is so minor for what could be.
Are you kidding me? Half of your audience is now going, "Oh, stop it!"
Really? Because you could take what was it? A melon that is scoop the eyeball out, and then you can slice it with the paper just so the juices will flow, and then someone's left with one eye out, and then it's just drooping on there. Like, yeah, you can get so much more detail out of that. You guys, the paper, yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah, well, now everybody has to go buy the first book to figure out what I was talking about. It wasn't a paper cut in the eye, by the way. It's a little bit more gross than that.
Well, I will have to try to. What's the title of it again?
Blind Influence is the first book.
Blind Influence. I will look that up completely. We'll see if I can read it through, because you know how long it's been since I read a book through, through and through.
I know. When you have a young one, it's yeah.
I know, yeah. So you might have to do audio.
Oh, it is available on audio. It's
well,
it's out of Audible. So, and there's a free trial with it over at Amazon, I think.
So I've got 48 hours. Got it.
No.
I'm just kidding.
No. I don't know if you have Audible already, but
no,
if you don't, there's a free trial. You get like 2 months free or 2 books free, something like that, and then you can cancel it. So.
You guys, she just gave you some advice.
Yes, I did.
So you create like 5 email accounts. Okay, this is how you do this, and then that's.
Watch it, Amazon. Amazon's pretty down on that kind of stuff. I mean, they can get after you. I mean, I did one ad with Amazon that passed their, ads team, said, yeah, this is okay. Because the tagline for the series is kind of like Jason Bourne meets the Good Wife in the West Wing. Mm-hmm. So, or House of Cards, if you prefer that one better. And I had that in the ad, and it posted out fine. The ads committee or whatever said, yeah, it's a go. The book was selling like crazy. And then I get a message from them saying, oh, you're using trademarks in your tagline, so we can't run your ad anymore. I'm like, okay, so somebody reported me. Mm-hmm. or they figured it out. So, like the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing type of thing. And somebody on the right hand figured out that somebody on the left hand let this go by. So I ended up having to shut the ad down. But it was just amazing how quickly that sold. So I knew it was a good tagline. It's just that I can't use it out on Amazon because Jason Bourne's trademarked, Good Wife is trademarked, and The West Wing is trademarked. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, I will take back what I said about Amazon, but you guys keep in mind what I said, and then I will say that I take it back because I don't want Amazon to come after me.
Yeah. They won't.
I will not say that I did not say that. So I'm confusing all of you guys on purpose. And we move on.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. You might get by with it. Who knows?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't either.
So, who would play you in a movie of your life?
Well, I don't know. The first name that came to mind was Amy Adams, and then the second name that came to mind was Julia Roberts. So maybe Julia could play the old me, and Amy would play the young me. Wouldn't mind Jennifer Lawrence either. I like her a lot as well. So how's that? We'll just leave it at that. So.
I don't know, because I honestly think Sally Field could do it.
I like Sally Field.
Yeah, she's amazing. You guys, my favorite scene, it's also my mom's favorite scene from Steel Magnolias.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, everyone does. I want to know why!
Yep.
Why Shelby did... Yeah, I love that.
When I see that, I just look at my husband and say, Sybil's back.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know if you ever saw her play Sybil, the one that had all the personalities.
Yeah, they actually did a remake where I didn't see Sally Field's version. I saw someone else's.
Well, that part is I want to know why, where she's crying and all that. That was pure Sybil. So.
Oh, really?
Go watch the old Sybil. It'll freak you out, but but yeah, she did a wonderful job in both movies. But yeah, that was definitely a Sybil moment.
Oh, awesome. Because that was made before that movie, right?
Yes,
I would assume.
Years before that movie. Yes, it was made probably in the 80s.
She was a lot younger.
Oh, wait, we did a case study on it in high school, so it had to be made in the 70s.
Okay, because this movie from Steel Magnolias was 1989. So.
Right.
Yeah. But it's one of my favorite movies. Julia Roberts was amazing, everybody. So, if no one knows who Sally Field is, you guys, first off, screw you. And second, you guys know what, Mrs. Doubtfire, she was also the wife in that film too, if that rings a bell. Yeah, so screw you if you don't know her. Julia Roberts, on the other hand, everyone knows, and Dolly Parton, everyone knows. But yeah, such a great film.
Yep.
But I could picture her doing, being you.
She had to dye her hair red.
Poor Sally. I'm sure she could handle it. Okay. Yep. Do you ever talk to yourself? And what do you say?
I never talk to myself, but my characters certainly talk to me. So it sounds like I'm talking to myself.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But yeah,
okay,
I do,
I'm just
actually.
Yeah.
A lot.
Everybody does. If you say that you don't, then you're lying. Because I have to talk to myself in my car. I have different scenarios playing in my head. Like if I'm really mad, I talk it out with myself because I know if I say that in front of someone else, if I lash out at work or something like that, then I'm going to get in a hell of a lot of trouble. So I'm just like, you know what? You wanted to talk shit. And I go off on myself.
Yeah. I do talk to myself, but half the time when I'm talking to myself, I'm playing out a scene for the book, or I'm trying to figure out how to paint something that I want to paint. So I'll be talking to myself that way. So I guess I don't really consider it talking to myself because I'll be not only do I talk to myself, I use different voices. So, if I'm working out a scene, I try to go from a British accent to a Southern accent because Bobby Jenkins is from the South, and then Nicole is from where we live, Ohio, Indiana, that type of thing. So I don't have to really worry about my accent for that. But the British agent and the Southern drawl back to back is very hard to do. But yeah. So not only do I talk to myself, I always do it in accents.
Do your accents.
No.
No?
No.
Oh, I got shut down again. Oh,
yeah, they're too embarrassing. They're really, really bad. So.
Oh my goodness, I get that with you because when I was still in the dating game or whatnot, I was actually talking to someone who was British, and I was like, you know what, I could try to do this. And I did it. He was laughing at me.
Yeah.
So I get it because I'm like, you think that it sounds good until you actually meet someone. And you try it, and
I don't want to. I do know people. I have very good friends that are British, and I don't want to insult them. Accent. So so I won't do that. So.
I know. I don't know if they find that demeaning or not. I don't know.
No, they just laugh.
A lot of people don't. Me. Yeah, a lot of people laugh. Yeah.
They got good sense of humor, but I'm still not going to insult them.
Anyone who has an accent is just so sexy. The accent itself. I wish I had an accent. Not a country accent with the twang, but, I like the British and the Australian.
Yeah. Are you watching Killing Eve?
No, is that on Netflix?
It's on BBC America and AMC. But it has Sandra Oh and Jodie Cromer, and Jodie Cromer
Oh,
plays a
yeah, that
Russian
new one.
Russian assassin.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Sandra
goes
Oh,
through.
yep.
She is amazing. She goes from British accent to Russian accent to American accent, back to Russia. I mean, just without even thinking. I'd love to see the bloopers on that, because I'm sure she's got them crossed a couple times.
Well,
But
she would have
she's
to.
amazing.
Like, a lot of people have to stop themselves and remind themselves to do something. You know,
Yeah.
like, that's why they have that one, when they focus on one person and they switch it to someone else, that's their break, where they can, like, practice the one accent, and then they usually go back. So if you're saying she's, like, on the spot doing it,
Yes.
that's really impressive.
Yeah.
So I'd have to watch that. Okay, because I've heard about it, and I saw commercials for it, but I was like, at first, I was like, it's probably not going to be too good, because Sandra Oh was one of the stars in Grey's Anatomy. And then no one knew where she went for a couple years. So
She was doing movies.
yeah, well, I didn't know.
She did Under the Tuscan Sun and got a whole bunch of other ones. But yeah, she's doing Killing Eve, and Jodie Cromer was the White Queen, I think, is that series that she came from, to do Killing Eve, and it's just totally different. 2 different roles for her, and she's just amazing.
Okay.
So.
All right, you ought to have to check that out. All right, so last question. Name a product or service you love so much that you'd be happily to be that company's spokesperson.
Oh, wow, that's a hard one. See,
You know, they always ask easy questions.
Yeah, right. No, I'm not materialistic all that much. I'm trying to think. I guess it would have to be a hairdryer, because I would not go out if I didn't have a hairdryer to dry my hair and style it with.
Is there a specific brand?
Well, Conair is the one that I have right now, so.
Okay.
I guess it would have to be that, because really, if I couldn't style my hair, I would not leave the house. So.
So, like, the commercial has to have your hair blowing in the wind.
Yeah,
You want to try out this product?
There you go.
So what's your line? Go ahead and tell me your line. Ready, set, go.
For the hairdryer?
Yeah. How are you going to sell it to me? No? Oh,
No.
That's the 3rd time, guys.
Yeah, sorry. It's getting late. So.
Yeah. So that's why I was saying the last question.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyways.
I don't know. Maybe it is, there's no life without chocolate. Maybe it's more chocolate than it is the hairdryer. So
maybe what the commercial could be was you found a hairdryer with some chocolate on a pillow, and that was your gift from your supposed lover. And so then you're like, oh, so I have to get ready for tonight, so then I have to dry my hair. And then it starts, and you're like, if you want to try this product, you make sure you get Conair.
Well, there you go. You just wrote the whole commercial.
Yeah, and then you eat a piece of chocolate at the end. There you go.
Well, and you know that there are people who say that chocolate is a substitute for sex. So if you eat the chocolate, then you don't
that's
need a
the
man,
whole
right?
purpose. You
There
got
you
your
go.
hair ready, okay? I was trying to be subtle. And
Oh,
so
okay.
then, just kidding.
Sorry, subtle's
No,
not
you
mine.
know.
Subtle's not one of my specialties.
It's not
so.
mine either. I was just playing. So you know that when you do your hair and then you eat that piece of chocolate, you know what's to come.
Yep, bedtime.
No pun intended.
At my age, bedtime.
No pun intended when I said that. Okay, so I thank you very, very much for joining my podcast. Is there anything you want to, advertise really quick?
Go out and visit lindafisler.com. It's LINDA, F as in Frank, ISLER.com. Links to my podcast is out there, All Things Creative, if you're interested in listening to master artists talk, and some other authors. I also do some authors. That's out there as well. But thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it. This was fun.
No problem. And then I'll also be getting your social media links, and I'll also post them in the description. So you guys can also follow her and keep up, to date as to what's going on in her life, as well as the work that she's doing. You guys make sure to check out her book. And again, it's named
Blind Influence, there's 4 books actually. Blind Influence, Blind Persuasion, Blind Alliance, and then Cloaked. So that's why I call it #Blind Series. So
I like it. I like it a lot. So you guys make sure to check that out. Again, thank you so much for joining. It was a complete honor. Maybe eventually you could join another podcast of mine and it won't be just about you. So just maybe. All right, you enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too. Thank you so much.
No problem. Bye.
Bye-bye.